Welcome back, dear traveler, or maybe welcome for the first time. Whether you're new or not, you've found your way to a quiet corner of calm. Here at AFK Asleep, we revisit the worlds that once made our hearts glow, one dreamlike journey at a time. If these stories bring you a little peace, don't forget to like, subscribe, and settle in for the night. And tell me in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is there. I hope that wherever you may be, these stories give you some peace, calm, and rest. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, imagine the noise of the day falling away. The sea is calm tonight. The world hums at a lower pitch, as if it too is winding down from the day's bright rhythm. Somewhere between the gentle sway of the tide and the distant cry of a wingle, a small ship glides through open water. Its deck lights shimmer against the waves, soft gold scattered across a field of deep blue. You stand near the rail, feeling the salt air brush against your face. The sound of the ocean is steady, like a slow, patient heartbeat. You've worked hard to get here, maybe not in battle, maybe not in a game, but in your own quiet ways, through effort, persistence, and those small victories that no one else always sees. The battle frontier waits for those who've already proven themselves, not because they must fight again, but because they've earned the right to rest among challenges that now exist only as echoes. Ahead, through the mist, a faint glow appears on the horizon. It flickers like a constellation just above the water, 7 lights forming the shape of a star. That is it. The battle frontier. It is not a city and not quite a resort. It is something in between, a place built for those who have walked far enough to ask what lies beyond strength. Each of its towers represents a different way of understanding mastery. One tests control, another trust, one rewards courage, another reflection. Together they create something that feels less like competition and more like meditation. The SS Tidal moves closer, cutting gently through the silvered waves. You can smell the faint tang of metal from the docks ahead, mixed with the sweetness of flowers growing between the stones. The island rises from the sea like a compass made of light and glass, its 7 points stretching outward around a central tower. Above everything, the night sky stretches wide and infinite, filled with stars that seem to mirror the lights below. It is quiet here, not silent, but alive in its own calm way. Somewhere inland, you can hear the hum of energy lines powering the battle tower, the rhythmic click of machinery, the gentle hiss of steam from the factory. Each sound blends into a single soft harmony, a lullaby of civilization at rest. For tonight, there are no tournaments, no crowds, no pressure, no roaring applause. The arenas sleep, the Pokémon rest. The trainers who once filled these halls are already dreaming. Only you remain awake, walking this island at its most peaceful hour, when the echoes of battle have faded into whispers. Somewhere deep within the island, a light flickers. It is said that even when the world sleeps, the frontier never truly stops. The machines hum, the waves breathe, the stars watch, and the lessons it holds about will, patience, and understanding continue quietly unseen, like thoughts forming in the back of the mind before sleep. You lean against the railing, watching the lights draw nearer. The ship slows as it approaches the dock. A bell chimes once, the sound bright and crystalline in the night air. The captain nods toward you with a quiet smile. "We are here," his voice seems to say, though maybe he does not speak at all. The air is cool, the ground firm beneath your feet. The wind carries the faint scent of rain that has not yet fallen. Before you lies the path into the battle frontier, wide, paved with smooth stone, lined with lamps that glow like captured moonlight. At the end of the path, the tower stands waiting, its mirrored surface catching the reflection of every star above it. But not yet. Not tonight. Tonight is not about challenge. It is about wonder, seeing the familiar world from a slower rhythm, where the edges blur and the heart softens. You will visit each place not to fight, but to understand what remains when the noise fades. You will walk through halls that once roared with energy and find them quiet, calm, and alive in stillness. You will see what strength looks like when it no longer needs to prove itself. Let the cool air fill your chest, and as you exhale, let the waves of sound around you slow to match your pulse. The sea murmurs, the lamps flicker, and the first step awaits. Let us wander together into the battle frontier. The dock feels alive beneath your feet. The planks creak softly as the sea pushes against them, waves rolling in a quiet, unhurried rhythm. The lamps that line the pier glow a pale amber, their light caught in the faint mist that hovers above the water. Behind you, the SS Tidal rests gently, its engines sighing as they cool. A few wing gulls circle above, their white wings catching the moonlight before disappearing into the dark. You take a moment to stand still. The world around you is hushed, yet full. You can feel the pulse of the island through the soles of your shoes, steady and deliberate, like a heartbeat in the earth itself. The air is thick with salt and memory. Somewhere far off, a current hums through an unseen power line, blending with the sound of distant waves. It feels like the entire island is breathing in its sleep. Ahead, the path begins. A broad walkway made of smooth stone stretches forward, lined with slender lamps that cast warm light in even intervals. Between the stones, tiny blades of grass have begun to grow, bending gently in the night air. The path curves slightly, following the shape of the island, and at its farthest point you can see the battle tower rising into the sky. Its surface glints like liquid silver, reflecting the stars above as though they were trapped inside it. You start to walk. The sound of your footsteps blends with the quiet murmur of the ocean. Each step feels softer than the last, as though the island itself is cushioning your arrival. To your left, the shoreline curves, and you catch the scent of the open sea mixed with something floral. The air here carries the faint perfume of wild blossoms that grow near the water's edge. It is a small detail, but it makes the place feel lived in, tended to, even at this late hour. The island reveals itself slowly. Small pathways branch off from the main road, leading toward distant structures that shimmer faintly in the dark. You can make out their silhouettes, domes, towers, and spires that form a seven-pointed pattern around the island's heart. Each one is unique in its design, yet all are connected by light. Fine streams of pale blue energy run through channels in the ground, like veins glowing softly beneath glass. They pulse at an even rhythm, guiding your eyes toward the center. The soundscape changes as you move farther inland. The wind softens. The air grows still. You can hear faint, mechanical murmurs coming from deeper within the island, gentle and precise. The hum of cooling engines, the faint metallic ring of gears turning in the distance. It feels alive but not busy. The machines here do not roar, they whisper. Every motion seems measured, as though the entire frontier operates at a slower, thoughtful pace when no one is watching. At a small intersection, a sign catches your eye. It is simple, made of polished steel and faintly glowing text. Battle Tower, Central Axis. Battle Dome, West, Battle Palace, East. The other names follow like points on a compass: Factory, Arena, Pike, Pyramid. 7 directions, each one a quiet promise of discovery. You keep walking, your steps light on the stone. The sound of the waves begins to fade as the terrain shifts. Ahead, a gentle incline leads upward. The lamps grow taller here, their glow blending with the faint reflection of the moon on the tower's mirrored face. You pass a few benches made of pale marble, smooth and cool to the touch. Someone once sat here, perhaps waiting for a battle that never came. Now the seats are empty, glimmering faintly under the lamplight. As you reach the top of the path, you pause. The view opens wide. The sea surrounds the island in a perfect circle, dark and endless, touched by threads of moonlight. The tower stands before you now, immense yet peaceful. Its surface catches every shimmer of the night sky. From this angle, you can see faint reflections of the other facilities, each one a small beacon of color and purpose scattered across the island. The dome glows a soft crimson at the edge of the western ridge. The palace gleams faintly gold among distant trees. The factory emits a muted blue haze like steam drifting upward from its chimneys. The entire island feels like a sleeping machine built from light and intention. It does not feel lonely. It feels patient. You rest your hand on the cool railing nearby. The metal hums faintly, warmed by the flow of energy beneath it. Somewhere nearby you hear the low, melodic hum of a lapras out at sea. Its song carries through the water, slow and mournful, but peaceful too. You imagine it gliding through the dark waves, its shell catching glimmers of moonlight as it drifts along the coast. For a moment, the world feels perfectly balanced. The ocean breathes, the machines sigh, the lamps flicker, and in the space between all of it, you feel yourself begin to slow down too. The island seems to sense your rhythm and match it. You take a deep breath, letting the air fill your lungs. It tastes like salt and cool metal and the faint sweetness of night. When you exhale, it feels as though the island exhales with you. The path ahead forks gently, one direction leading toward the central plaza where the battle tower stands, the other toward the western ridge where the dome waits. You look between them, unsure which to take first, but the choice does not matter. Every path leads inward. Every route is part of the same quiet circle. You close your eyes for a moment. The wind shifts. You can hear the faint rustle of fabric as though someone unseen is passing by, their presence more felt than seen. Perhaps another traveler. Perhaps only memory. When you open your eyes again, the lamps ahead flicker once, then steady. The night feels deeper, but also calmer. The island has accepted you. You take one more step forward, and the soft rhythm of the sea fades behind you. The journey through the battle frontier has begun. The path leading to the battle tower widens as you walk, its stone surface catching faint ripples of light from the ocean beyond. The lamps grow taller here, their glow silver instead of gold, casting reflections that shimmer like liquid on the ground. The air feels cooler, charged with a quiet energy that hums just beneath the senses. Each breath feels sharper, lighter, as if the air itself has been polished smooth by centuries of focus. The tower looms ahead, its mirrored walls reaching high into the sky. From a distance, it looks like a column of captured moonlight, but up close you can see fine etchings along the metal and glass. They are not words, but patterns, lines and shapes that resemble constellations, woven into the design like a quiet code. Every panel reflects a fragment of the world around it, yet somehow reveals nothing of what is inside. You pause before the entrance. The doors slide open without a sound. The air inside is perfectly still. It carries a faint scent of ozone and clean metal, like rain waiting to fall. The floor is smooth beneath your feet, made of polished stone that mirrors the soft blue glow from the walls. The interior is vast, a single open chamber with a ceiling that stretches higher than seems possible. You can hear your own footsteps, echo softly, but the sound fades quickly, swallowed by the stillness. At the center of the room stands a long circular platform, its edges lined with faintly pulsing lights. Around it, holographic screens flicker with quiet precision, displaying battle records, names, and glowing silhouettes of Pokémon. Yet the screens themselves make no sound. Their motion is fluid, rhythmic, almost meditative. You step closer and notice something. Each flicker on the screen feels deliberate. Every change in light seems to breathe in time with the low hum of the tower itself. It feels alive, though not in any way you can describe. Then you feel it. A presence. Calm and steady. A voice echoes softly, not from any direction but from everywhere at once. Welcome back. You turn, and there she stands. Annabelle, Salon Maiden of the Battle Tower. Her presence feels quiet, yet certain. She wears a calm expression, her lavender hair falling just past her shoulders, and her gaze is soft but sharp in its understanding. There is no hint of competition in her stance, only composure. "It is late," she says gently. "Most have long since left for rest, yet you still walk." You nod. Her smile deepens slightly and she steps closer, her voice a calm murmur that fills the air like music. This place remembers every battle fought within it, but it also remembers every silence after. The moments when the mind stops reaching and begins listening. Her words linger in the air, blending with the hum of the tower. "Many think strength is about control," she continues. "But control without stillness is noise. Even the most powerful mind must quiet itself to see clearly." She raises a hand, and the air shifts. Around you, the holographic displays fade, replaced by soft light that fills the space like mist. For a moment, you can see faint silhouettes of past trainers and their Pokémon, appearing and disappearing in a rhythm too gentle to be haunting. Alakazam meditates with its spoons suspended mid-air. Snorlax sleeps in a corner, breathing slow and deep, the floor slightly trembling with each exhale. "This tower," Annabelle says, "tests not your command over others, but your harmony with them. Here, your Pokémon act not as extensions of your will, but mirrors of your calm. The more centered you are, the stronger your connection becomes." You glance at the sleeping Snorlax. Its breathing seems to match the soft pulse of the tower light. Each rise and fall of its chest feels like part of the rhythm of the entire building. Annabelle closes her eyes for a moment, then opens them again. "When I was younger, I thought my power came from focus, from calculation. But it came from listening, to the sound of thought itself, to the pauses between choices, to the moments before a command. She turns her gaze upward. The ceiling above seems endless, yet the reflection of stars remains within it, forming a sky that feels both near and far. When you listen long enough, she says quietly, you begin to hear the tower breathe with you. You realize she is right. The hum of the structure is not mechanical at all. It follows the same cadence as your own breathing. The tower is not competing. It is reflecting. She steps closer, her expression softening. When you leave here, you will carry that silence with you. Let it guide you. Let it remind you that mastery begins in rest. A faint light blooms at the far end of the hall. The path beyond the tower opens once again, returning to the quiet night outside. You take one last look at Annabelle. She gives a slow nod, her voice fading into the hum of the tower. May your next step be lighter than the last. You walk toward the exit, the sound of your footsteps blending with the low thrum of energy around you. The air feels clearer now. The stars outside seem brighter. As the doors slide open, a soft wind brushes past you. The tower hums one last time, then falls silent. You exhale, and the quiet feels whole. The path ahead is waiting. The next light flickers in the distance, glowing red and gold. You begin walking again. The night continues. The path curves westward, leading you away from the stillness of the tower and into a softer hum that feels almost musical. The air grows warmer. The lamps shift from silver to gold, their light deepening into shades of amber and rose. Each step feels like walking closer to a heartbeat. In the distance, the battle dome rises from the ground like a sleeping sun. Its surface gleams with polished steel, rounded and smooth, reflecting the stars as small sparks of red and orange. Even from afar, it carries a sense of movement, though everything is still. The curved panels shimmer faintly as if breathing, expanding and contracting in time with the rhythm of the wind. As you draw nearer, the ground changes beneath your feet. The smooth stone gives way to metallic plates that glow faintly under the lamplight. You can see your reflection in them, shifting with each step, bending with the curve of the path. The air vibrates gently here, touched by the faint hum of unseen energy lines that run beneath the floor. It feels like standing in the presence of something that remembers noise but chooses silence. The entrance to the dome stands tall and open. Wide doors curve upward, etched with faint spiral patterns that catch the light like rippling fire. You step inside. The interior stretches wide and circular, a single open expanse that feels larger than it should. The ceiling is high and smooth, painted in deep crimson hues that fade into gold. Rows of seats surround the central stage, each one empty now, but the space still carries an echo of sound, as if the cheers of 1,000 voices have left a faint vibration in the air. The central platform is a perfect circle, polished and faintly reflective. Above it hangs a massive screen suspended in mid-air, flickering with soft, colorless light. For a moment, the ghost of a battle replays there, faint silhouettes of Pokémon clashing in silence. Then the image fades, leaving only the reflection of your own face against the light. You hear footsteps approaching. From the opposite side of the arena, a figure steps into view. He moves with confidence but no rush, his long red coat glinting faintly under the overhead glow. Tucker, the dome ace. His expression is calm now, a quiet echo of the showman he once was in daylight. "I wondered if anyone would walk here tonight," he says, softly, his voice smooth and steady. "Most who visit this place come for the noise, for the lights, for the thrill of being seen. But there is another side to performance." He gestures toward the empty seats that circle the arena. When the crowd leaves, the stage remains. The echoes stay for a while, then fade. What you are left with is the truth of the moment. Just you, your Pokémon, and the silence that follows the last cheer. He steps onto the central platform, his boots making almost no sound. "People think of me as a showman, and I suppose I am. But what I really love is not the performance itself. It is the connection, the spark that passes between trainer and Pokémon when everything else disappears. The world watches, but they do not see that part. That is ours alone." The dome hums softly around him. The air seems to shimmer with warmth. You can almost feel the energy of old battles still drifting through the space like light that refuses to die out completely. Tucker closes his eyes, raising one hand. For a moment, the arena fills with faint illusions, a memory of movement. You see the outlines of Charizard's wings unfurl, glowing faintly against the dark. Swampert stands nearby, still as stone, its eyes reflecting the golden light above. They do not fight. They simply exist side by side, calm and content. "They rest now," Tucker says quietly. "Even power needs peace. Even fire cools when the night is kind enough." You look up at the ceiling. The gold fades slowly to black, and within that darkness, small points of light begin to appear. Stars. Not real ones, but projected across the dome's surface, forming constellations that shimmer and shift. The entire ceiling becomes the night sky. He watches it with a faint smile. This place was built to test champions, but I have learned it teaches something else. That victory is only as loud as your ability to listen when it ends. He turns to face you fully now, his expression softer. When the last match is over, the lights dim, and you are left standing here. The silence does not mean it is finished. It means you are still here, still learning, still alive. For a long moment, neither of you speak. The stars above rotate slowly, their motion quiet and hypnotic. The dome's hum fades until all you can hear is the faint crackle of electricity deep in its walls. Tucker lowers his voice, his tone nearly a whisper. In the end, every battle becomes a memory. Every victory becomes a story. But the quiet that follows, that is where understanding begins. He steps back toward the edge of the platform. Carry that with you when you go. Let it remind you that strength is not the sound of applause. It is the peace you can find when the noise is gone. The projected stars dim one by one until only a faint, golden light remains at the far end of the arena. The exit path glows softly, leading you out. Tucker gives a small nod, his red coat catching one last glint of light. "Good night, traveler." The show is over, but the dream continues. You walk toward the light. The air cools again. The hum of the dome fades into the breeze outside. The lamps beyond the entrance flicker gently, changing color once more. Gold fades into pale green. The air smells of wood and earth. The next path winds through a forested slope, where leaves whisper softly overhead. The night deepens. The journey continues. The air changes as you walk. The warmth from the dome fades behind you, replaced by a soft coolness, that smells of earth and cedar. The lamps grow fewer along the path, and the ones that remain glow with a gentler light, filtered through carved wooden frames that scatter the glow into quiet shapes. The ground beneath your feet is no longer stone but packed soil, smooth and even, brushed by fallen leaves that whisper faintly with every step. Ahead, the forest opens into a clearing. The Battle Palace rises before you, a structure of dark wood and pale stone. Its roof curves gracefully upward, each corner adorned with small bells that chime softly in the wind. The sound is delicate and steady, almost like breathing. The air here is cooler, and a faint mist lingers over the surface of a nearby pond. The reflection of the palace ripples gently in the water, perfect but slightly blurred, as if reminding you that even stillness moves. You approach the entrance. A pair of sliding doors stands half open, revealing a soft golden light inside. The wooden floor is smooth and polished, its scent rich and natural. As you step across the threshold, the sound of the outside world fades into silence. The air feels different here, heavier and yet clearer, as if the space itself asks for quiet before thought. Inside, the hall is simple and vast. Tatami mats line the floor. Paper lanterns hang from the ceiling, their glow warm and steady. The walls are lined with open panels that reveal the forest beyond, allowing the cool wind to drift through. It feels like the entire palace is breathing with the night. A figure waits near the far end of the room. His posture is straight but relaxed. His hair is grey, his eyes calm. He wears a robe of deep green and brown, its fabric faintly worn, its pattern reminiscent of leaves and river stones. He does not move as you approach, but his presence fills the space. "Welcome," he says quietly. His voice is low and even, like a river that has flowed for many years. "You have come far." You nod and he smiles faintly. "This place," he says, "is not built for battle. It is built for understanding. Many think control is the highest form of mastery. Here, we learn to release it." He gestures toward the open floor. "Your Pokémon act not because you command them, but because they know you. Their nature decides. Their spirit guides. You watch, and you learn." He walks slowly to the edge of the mat and kneels, his motions smooth and deliberate. You follow his example, lowering yourself until you are seated on the floor. The surface beneath you is cool and firm. The faint scent of incense hangs in the air, light and floral. "You may think this is chaos," he says. "It is not. It is trust. To know another being is to allow it to act freely, even when you do not understand the choice." He closes his eyes. "When I was young, I trained to command. I thought my strength came from control. But control creates distance. Only trust creates harmony." A faint sound rises outside. The wind stirs through the trees, carrying the scent of rain. You hear the soft patter of drops on the wooden eaves. Each one lands in rhythm, forming a gentle melody. The air cools further. He speaks again, barely above a whisper. "The palace teaches patience. You must let go of expectation. You must allow things to unfold in their time." From the corner of your eye, you notice movement. A crowbat glides silently through one of the open panels, its wings cutting soundlessly through the air. It lands on a wooden beam and folds its wings neatly, its red eyes calm and watchful. A lapras stirs in the pond outside, sending soft ripples across the water, and near the edge of the floor, a slaking rests, eyes half closed, its chest rising and falling in an unhurried rhythm. "These are my companions," Spencer says softly. "They act according to their own will. When they fight, it is not from order. It is from spirit. Each movement is a choice born from understanding, not instruction." You watch the slaking yawn and stretch, its massive arm dragging lightly along the floor. It looks unbothered, but there is a quiet strength in its motion. You can sense the power that lies beneath its calm exterior, waiting, patient, at ease in its own stillness. Spencer studies you quietly. Most people fear stillness, he says. They fill it with commands, with noise, with motion. But stillness is where the truth of connection lives. He reaches for a small cup beside him, filled with clear tea that steams faintly in the cool air. Every moment of quiet is a conversation, he continues. Every pause is a chance to listen. He sets the cup down, then folds his hands in his lap. You do not need to speak to be understood. Sometimes presence is enough. The rain outside deepens. The sound becomes steadier, more rhythmic, blending with the rustle of the leaves and the quiet breathing of the Pokémon. The entire palace feels suspended in time, untouched by the world beyond its walls. You close your eyes. For a moment, you feel your thoughts slow until they match the rhythm of the rain. The line between you and the world blurs. The air feels softer. The sound of your breath blending with the natural hum around you. When you open your eyes, Spencer is looking at you. You understand now, he says quietly. Stillness is not the absence of motion. It is the space where meaning grows. He stands slowly and looks toward the forest outside. Go when you are ready. The next path will find you. You rise and bow your head slightly. The bells outside chime once, a single, gentle note that hangs in the air. As you step outside, the rain softens to a mist. The forest gleams faintly, every leaf coated in silver droplets that shimmer in the lamplight. The path curves ahead, leading toward a faint, golden glow that breaks through the trees. The air feels cleaner now, your breath lighter. The lessons of the palace linger in the quiet of your steps. The path bends again. The soil turns to sand. In the distance you can see the shape of stone walls rising from the mist. The sound of your footsteps grows sharper, echoing softly against the walls ahead. The night continues, and the next challenge waits. The forest path narrows until the trees give way to open sky. The ground turns dry and grainy beneath your feet, each step producing a faint crunch as you step onto fine sand. The air feels heavier here, warmer, touched with the scent of stone and dust. The wind moves slower, dragging faint trails across the ground like invisible hands smoothing the earth. Ahead, the battle arena rises from the landscape like a memory of an ancient world. Its walls are carved from pale, sun-worn stone that glows faintly under the moonlight. The surface bears faint marks of age, scratches and grooves from countless battles long past. Wide arches open to the night, revealing the circular floor within. There are no lights here, only torches that burn steadily along the upper rim, their flames swaying in the wind like small, patient hearts. You walk between two stone pillars and step inside. The air changes immediately. It carries a low, echoing silence that feels deep and alive. Every sound seems magnified, your footsteps, your breath, even the faint shift of sand beneath your shoes. The arena is vast, but not imposing. Its emptiness has weight, like a cathedral built for focus rather than worship. In the center, a single figure moves. She is small, but her presence fills the space completely. Greta, the arena tycoon. Her hair is tied back, her posture sharp. She moves through a slow, measured routine, her arms cutting clean lines through the air. Her body shifts between stillness and motion with perfect rhythm, like a pendulum swinging between control and release. You stop at the edge of the arena. She finishes her movement, then turns toward you. Her eyes are bright, steady, and aware. "I thought I was alone," she says softly. Her tone is calm, but her voice carries through the air with surprising strength. Most people avoid this place at night. It feels too heavy for them. But you are still walking. You nod. She studies you for a moment, then gestures toward the arena floor. "Come closer." You step forward, your shoes sinking slightly into the sand. The surface is warm, still holding the memory of the day's sun. Greta waits at the center, arms crossed loosely, her expression unreadable. "Do you know what this place teaches?" she asks. You shake your head. She tilts her chin toward the walls around you. This arena limits every battle to 3 turns. 3 moves, no more, no less. When I first heard that rule, I thought it was about judgment, about pressure. But I learned something else. It is about attention. She draws a small circle in the sand with her toe. 3 moves, that is all you have. It forces you to see clearly, to act without fear, to choose, not react. The wind passes through the open arches, scattering a few grains of sand across the floor. The faint crackle of the torches fills the silence. When you have only 3 turns, she continues, you stop thinking about winning. You start thinking about truth. What matters most in this small space, in this short time? She kneels down, touching the sand. Every mark left here fades overnight. The wind smooths the ground by morning. It erases everything. No victory lasts. No loss stays. What remains is the lesson. She looks up at you, her eyes steady. Mind, skill, body. The judges decide based on those 3, but they are not here tonight. Only you are. So tell me, traveler, which one do you think is your strength? You hesitate, unsure. She smiles faintly. That is the point. You do not need to know. The knowing comes after the act. Her words settle in the air like dust. You realize this arena is not about noise or audience or even combat. It is about being present in a moment so brief that it demands your full self. She stands, brushing the sand from her hands. There is beauty in limitation. When time is short, attention becomes sacred. Behind her, a faint shimmer catches your eye. An Umbrian stands at the far edge of the arena, its yellow rings glowing softly in the dark. It watches you quietly, its gaze unblinking, its form perfectly still. Greta glances toward it. That one knows the value of patience. It waits, it endures. Sometimes that is the truest form of strength. The Umbrion blinks once, then turns, away, its glowing rings fading as it melts into the shadows beyond the wall. Greta steps closer to you. You carry your own rhythm, she says. The way you breathe, the way you move, the way you see. Do not rush to match the world. Let the world match you. For a moment, the silence stretches. Only the wind and the torches remain. You realize how calm your body feels now. Your heartbeat has slowed to the same rhythm as the flames. Greta smiles, faint but genuine. When you leave this place, remember what the sand teaches. Nothing lasts forever, and that is what makes it beautiful. Every choice you make disappears into time, but the way you made it stays within you. She looks up at the stars through the open roof. 3 moves. That is all any of us ever really get. You watch as the wind gathers again, sweeping across the arena floor. The sand shifts, smoothing away the small marks left by your feet. Greta closes her eyes, listening to the sound. The next path waits beyond the east gate, she says. You will know it by its hum. You bow slightly and she returns the gesture. As you step toward the archway, the torches flicker once, their flames dimming into soft embers. Outside, the air grows cooler again. The scent of metal and oil drifts faintly through the breeze. The path ahead glows faintly blue, streaked with thin lines of light that pulse in steady rhythm. You can already hear it. The distant hiss of steam, the turn of gears, the whisper of machines that never sleep. The battle factory awaits. The path narrows into a corridor of blue light. The faint scent of oil and warm metal hangs in the air. Each step echoes differently here, sharper, like the sound of a wrench striking steel. The glow from the lamps changes again, shifting from soft amber to pale, industrial white. The hum of the island's machinery grows louder until it feels almost like a heartbeat underfoot. Ahead, the battle factory rises through the mist like a monument to invention. Its walls are made of copper and iron, patched and layered over the years. Thin plumes of steam rise from vents along its surface, twisting upward into the night like small clouds. The building seems to move even while standing still, as gears turn somewhere deep within. It does not feel cold or mechanical. It feels alive. You walk toward the entrance. The metal doors slide open with a quiet hiss, releasing a wave of warm air that smells faintly of oil, dust, and electricity. The sound of machinery fills the hall, steady and constant, like a low mechanical song. The light inside is soft and golden, reflecting off pipes and metal walkways that run along the walls. Screens flicker gently on control panels, displaying streams of data that move too quickly to read. In the center of the room stands a figure surrounded by consoles. His coat is long and slightly wrinkled, his hands moving in small, precise gestures as he adjusts something unseen. His hair catches the light, and a small smile plays on his face as he notices your presence. "You made it," he says, his tone quiet but warm. "I thought you might." It is Noland, the factory head. His voice has the rhythm of someone who spends more time thinking than speaking. "This place never sleeps," he says, turning back to the screen. "Even when the battles end, the data continues. Every choice, every trade, every outcome, all of it feeds the system." You step closer. The screens shift as if responding to your movement. Lines of data transform into faint outlines of Pokémon, hundreds of them, spinning in slow, gentle motion. You recognize some instantly: the sleek curve of a Zapdos's wings, the faint shimmer of an Articuno's tail, the solid form of a Registeel standing perfectly still. Nolan gestures toward them. Every one of these represents a story, a set of choices made by someone who thought they understood what they were doing. And yet, Each new battle changes everything. The factory's rule is simple. You never keep the same team twice. You borrow, trade, and adapt. Every battle teaches flexibility. Every victory teaches humility. The hum of the machines deepens. You notice small sparks of light drifting in the air. Not dangerous, just faint motes of energy released from the machinery around you. They rise slowly toward the ceiling, where they fade into the mist of steam that coils along the beams. When I started this place, Nolan says, I wanted to see how far adaptability could go. Could a trainer win with anything? Could a mind stay calm when every comfort was taken away? He pauses, resting a hand on one of the consoles. The answer surprised me. The more unfamiliar the team, the clearer the connection becomes. You learn to listen differently. You stop seeing Pokémon as tools and start feeling them as extensions of something much older. Instinct, trust, intuition. He turns toward you, his eyes bright with quiet curiosity. Tell me, traveler, when was the last time you faced something unknown and did not flinch? You think for a moment. You do not answer. He smiles knowingly. Then you already understand. A faint sound rises from somewhere deeper in the facility. The rhythmic clang of gears resetting, the hiss of valves opening. The walls tremble slightly, and the floor vibrates with soft, steady power. Nolan watches the motion with pride. This place is a living mind, he says. It learns from every visitor. Every battle fought here becomes part of its memory. Some people say it is just machinery, but I think it dreams. He looks upward, as if listening to something only he can hear. When I walk through these halls alone, I hear it whisper. Patterns, probabilities. It is always thinking, always adapting. You follow his gaze. The lights above flicker, and for a moment, the air fills with quiet motion. Images form briefly.
Pokémon swapping places, 100 different battles playing out at once.
Then they dissolve again, leaving only light and hum. Nolan lowers his voice. The secret to the factory isn't mastery, it is acceptance. You cannot predict everything. You cannot control what you receive. You can only adapt. And sometimes that is enough. He walks to the far end of the room and stops beside a large metal door. Steam curls from its edges and faint blue light seeps through the cracks. Beyond this door is where we store every borrowed memory. Not data, feeling. The echoes of the trainers who came before. They remain here, silent but alive, guiding the next who enters. He looks back at you. Every decision leaves an imprint. Every act of trust becomes part of the pattern. You feel the air shift. The hum of the factory aligns with your breathing, the rhythm becoming slow and steady. You realize it has been matching you since you walked in. Nolan nods once, as if confirming a thought. Good. You hear it too. He reaches for a lever beside the door, then pauses. When you leave, do not try to remember the details. They will fade. What matters is the instinct that stays. The readiness to move, even when you do not understand. He pulls the lever gently. The door opens with a low hiss, releasing a gust of cool air that smells faintly of rain and iron. Beyond the threshold, The path glows white and blue, winding upward through the mist. "Go," he says quietly. The next lesson does not come from machines. It comes from chance. You step into the cool air. The hum of the factory fades behind you, replaced by the faint sound of dripping water and the low, distant hiss of mist. The ground beneath you shifts from metal to smooth tile, damp with condensation. Ahead, the light softens to pink. The air grows warm again, scented with something faintly floral, but unfamiliar. You hear a quiet, rhythmic pulse, like a heartbeat behind a wall. The serpentine silhouette of the Battle Pike begins to take shape through the fog. The island exhales again. The journey continues. The mist thickens as you walk. The air feels heavier now, humid and warm, clinging faintly to your skin. Each breath carries a trace of something floral, but the sweetness fades quickly, replaced by the metallic tang of water and stone. The path winds in subtle curves, its tiles glistening under faint pink light. The sound of dripping water echoes somewhere ahead, steady and slow, like the ticking of a clock measured in heartbeats. The fog parts, and the Battle Pike comes into view. It towers before you.
Long and sinuous, its entrance shaped like the open jaws of a serpent.
The walls curve inward, textured like scales that shimmer under the dim light. Each surface breathes faintly with a pulse that is not mechanical, but organic, as if the structure itself were alive. The glow shifts rhythmically, soft pink fading into purple, then back again. You stand before the entrance for a moment. The air feels warm against your face, and you can hear a low hum coming from deep within the structure. Not sound, exactly, but a vibration that travels through the ground and into your feet. You take a slow breath and step inside. The corridor beyond is narrow, its walls slick and curved. The floor is soft underfoot, like walking on smooth skin. Faint lights pulse within the walls, following your movement like veins carrying luminescent blood. The path splits into 3 passages ahead, each shrouded in deeper mist. A voice speaks.
Low and unhurried, you can choose any path.
But you cannot know where it leads. You turn and see her. Lucy, the Pike Queen. She leans against one of the curved walls, half in shadow, her violet eyes half closed in quiet amusement. Her dark hair catches the dim light, and her posture is relaxed, her expression unreadable. "This place," she says softly, "is not about strength. It is about acceptance. The Pike does not care what you plan. It teaches you to trust what you cannot control." She steps closer, her movements deliberate, her voice as smooth as the walls around you. You walk, and the world decides what happens.
A battle, a gift, a setback.
You cannot prepare for everything, no matter how hard you try. You can only move forward. You glance toward the 3 tunnels ahead. Each one looks identical. The same glow, the same mist, the same faint heartbeat of light within the walls. Lucy smiles faintly. They all look the same because every choice feels that way in the moment. You only see meaning after you've chosen. Her sea viper appears silently behind her, its scales reflecting the pink light in rippling waves. It coils around her feet, its golden eyes watching you. The blade at the end of its tail gleams faintly, but its posture is calm, protective. Most people think sea viper represents danger, Lucy says, but it doesn't. It represents consequence. Its bite is not punishment. It's reminder. Every path you take leaves something behind, She kneels beside Sea Viper, running her hand lightly along its scales. In this place, even pain has purpose. Sometimes the wrong turn gives you what you needed, even if it doesn't feel kind at first. You listen to the faint hum of the pike. It feels alive, breathing around you. Somewhere deeper in the corridors, a soft hiss echoes, followed by the flutter of unseen wings. You can sense other presences. Pokémon resting in the shadows, waiting, not hostile, just part of the pike's rhythm. Lucy stands again and looks toward the tunnels. You can walk through all 10 rooms if you wish. You might meet battle or rest or silence. Each step rewrites what you think you know about control. But remember this, the pike doesn't test you. It reveals you. You take a step forward, then hesitate. Lucy watches quietly, her voice barely above a whisper. Go where your pulse leads. That's the only compass that works here. You choose a tunnel, at random or perhaps not. The air grows warmer as you walk. The glow in the walls flickers in rhythm with your breath. You pass through small chambers, one filled with floating motes of light that drift like slow fireflies, another where the sound of running water echoes through unseen pipes. In one you see a faint shimmer in the mist, and for a moment you think you see Melodic. Its long, elegant body glides just beyond your reach, scales reflecting light like liquid glass. It watches you with calm eyes, then fades again into the haze. The path twists and narrows. The air grows heavy with moisture. You can feel your heartbeat slowing, sinking with the pulse of the pike. Every sound you make seems to belong to the structure. The soft brush of your steps, the rhythm of your breathing, the whisper of air as you move. At last, the tunnel opens into a larger chamber. The walls here glow with faint blue light, and the ground is smooth and reflective like shallow water. Lucy stands at the far end, arms crossed, waiting. You walked without knowing, and yet you arrived, she says.
She takes a slow breath, her gaze softening.
Life is not a straight line, traveler. It moves like this place. Winding, uncertain, beautiful because of its unpredictability. The pike reminds us that uncertainty isn't chaos. It's possibility. She walks past you, her sea viper following, its body making no sound as it glides. When you leave this place, don't seek control. Seek balance. Let things unfold as they must. The world has its own rhythm. You only need to listen. As she disappears into the mist, the walls around you begin to brighten. The pink glow fades into pale white. The air cools and a faint breeze flows from ahead. The tunnel narrows again, then opens suddenly to the night air. You step outside. The ground is solid beneath your feet once more. The scent of humidity fades, replaced by dry wind and the faint grit of sand. The horizon glows faintly gold, and ahead of you, rising against the dark sky, stands a vast structure, angular, ancient, and towering. The Battle Pyramid, the final ascent. The night air sharpens as you approach. The sand underfoot shifts from pale gold to dark bronze, crunching softly with each step. The hum of the pike fades behind you until only the whisper of the wind remains. Ahead, the Battle Pyramid rises from the earth like a mountain carved from shadow and starlight. Its edges gleam faintly, lined with traces of gold that catch the moon's glow. The air around it feels ancient, charged with a quiet gravity. You pause at its base. The structure towers above you, each step of its ascending layers lit by small, flickering flames. The stone is rough and dark, cool to the touch, carrying the scent of old dust and time. Somewhere deep inside you can hear the low pulse of movement. Not mechanical, not human, but steady. like the breath of the earth itself. You begin to climb. The steps are wide, uneven, and worn smooth from years of travelers who came before. Each footfall releases a faint echo that fades quickly into the silence. The higher you go, the quieter it becomes. The sounds of the island recede, replaced by the faint rustle of wind curling around the stone. Halfway up, the entrance reveals itself. A tall, narrow opening that leads into darkness. You step inside. The air is cool, dry, and heavy with stillness. The faint light from the torches flickers against the walls, casting soft golden lines that vanish into the depths ahead. The floor slopes gently upward, guiding you through the shadows. Every few steps you catch glimpses of glimmering metal embedded in the walls, silver veins that pulse faintly with light. Deeper inside, the temperature drops. The air tastes faintly of iron and earth. The darkness here feels thick, not empty, but full of quiet presence. A voice breaks the silence,
low and distant. Each floor teaches something new. You turn toward the sound. A figure stands at the edge of the torchlight.
Tall, steady, his features partially hidden by the shadows. His eyes glint faintly, reflecting the flames. His tone carries the calm weight of someone who has climbed these steps many times before. The pyramid, he says, is a place of endurance. It was built not to test strength but awareness. You move through darkness, but the path only appears when you are ready to see it. You take a step closer. The torches behind him flicker, and for a moment you see faint forms shimmer in the air. Silhouettes of massive figures, ancient and unmoving.
Regirock,
Regiice,
and Registeel.
Their shapes pulse faintly, glowing like fragments of memory brought to life. They are the guardians, he says. They remember what time forgets. The air thickens. The glow of the golems brightens, then fades again, leaving only the faint hum of power in the walls. You realize the pyramid is not made of stone alone. It hums with a rhythm that feels alive, almost like a living body, its heartbeat deep below the surface. The man gestures toward the stairway that leads upward. Climb, he says simply. The light grows thinner as you go, but that is how you learn to see. You nod and begin your ascent. The steps wind upward in a spiral, narrow and steep. Torches appear less often now, leaving long stretches of shadow. In some places, the walls open into small chambers filled with faint blue light. You glimpse Regis in one of them, motionless, surrounded by frost that glitters like starlight on glass. In another, you see Registeel's reflection in a pool of still water, its surface trembling faintly with every breath you take. Each level feels different. The air shifts subtly from cold to warm, from dry to damp. You lose track of how long you have been climbing. Time seems to stretch and dissolve here, as if the pyramid exists outside of it. Eventually, the steps narrow again. The walls open to a vast chamber near the top. The ceiling is lost in shadow, but faint light streams down through a narrow opening far above. Dust drifts through the beam, glowing softly as it falls. At the center of the chamber stands a stone pedestal.
On it rests a small, ancient flame, its light dim but unwavering.
You walk closer, the sound of your footsteps swallowed by the air. The voice speaks again, closer this time. This is where every journey ends. Not in victory, not in defeat.
In stillness, the figure steps from the shadows.
His expression is calm, his eyes reflecting the flame's glow. You have climbed without knowing what waited. You moved through darkness, and yet you are here. That is the lesson.
Endurance is not about strength.
It is about faith in forward motion. He looks toward the opening above, where the stars shimmer faintly beyond the gap in the ceiling. Each floor is a breath, he says. Each step a heartbeat. The climb itself is life. There is no summit that ends it.
Only the rhythm that carries you. You look up at the stars.
They seem closer now, their light soft and endless. The flame on the pedestal flickers, and for a brief moment the walls around you come alive with reflections, memories of every place you have visited tonight. The tower's calm glow, the dome's golden light, the palace's quiet rain, the arena's shifting sand, the factory's hum, the pike's pulse. All of it converges here. All of it breathes together. The man speaks one last time. Rest now.
You have already done enough. He steps back into the shadow and the flame steadies.
You sit near the pedestal, the warmth of the fire brushing your hands. The sound of your breath blends with the faint hum of the pyramid. Slowly, the air begins to glow with the faintest dawn light from the opening above. You close your eyes. The world grows quiet. The pyramid exhales. The hum softens. You feel yourself drift lighter and lighter until there is no weight at all. The island sleeps. The sea moves. The battle frontier dreams. The night deepens. The stars above the pyramid shimmer softly, their light spilling through the narrow opening and touching the floor like quiet rain. You sit in stillness, the warmth of the small flame steady before you. The hum of the pyramid is softer now, no longer a vibration, but a memory of one. You listen. Far below, the sea sighs against the shore. The sound travels upward, carried through stone and sand until it becomes a rhythm. Slow, distant, and soothing. The same sound that greeted you when you first arrived. The same pulse that has followed you through every step of this island. The air feels cool again. The scent of the ocean drifts through the opening above, faint and familiar. You exhale and the last tension leaves your body. The lights of the battle frontier glow faintly in the distance. From here, they look like stars fallen gently to the ground. The tower stands still, its mirrored face dimming under the night sky. The dome's golden sheen has softened into a warm ember. The palace lies quiet among the trees where the rain has already stopped. The arena rests in perfect stillness, its sand untouched. The factory hums gently, machines whispering in low, peaceful tones. The pike's lights pulse in slow harmony, like the breathing of something alive and calm. All 7 points shine faintly, connected by thin paths of light that form a perfect circle. The frontier sleeps. You realize now that the island was never about battle. It was about balance. Every structure, every hum, every silence was part of one rhythm. The rhythm that brought you here. You lie back against the smooth stone floor, your body supported by the warmth of the earth beneath you. The ceiling opens wide above, framing a sky scattered with endless stars. They do not flicker sharply anymore. They glow steady and soft like memories that have learned how to stay. You take one last breath in, deep and easy. The sea answers with its own breath. The island exhales somewhere far away. A lapra sings again, low, slow, and melodic. The sound drifts through the air like a lullaby, carrying with it the weight of calm waters and the promise of morning. You think of every place you've walked tonight.
Every sound, every stillness.
The voices that met you and the silences that followed, they weave together into something whole. Something simple, peace. You feel it settle into you, not as an idea but as warmth, spreading from your chest outward until it fills every part of you. The flame before you flickers once, then steadies, and its light fades slowly to gold, then to silver, then to nothing. The darkness that remains is not empty. It is soft, kind, and infinite. The island rests. The stars rest. You rest. The world does not end here. It only slows enough for you to listen. So let yourself drift. Let the last echoes fade. Let the battle frontier breathe with you. The frontier quiets now. Its lights a constellation above the sea. You rest at its heart, surrounded by peace, surrounded by stars. Sleep well, dear traveler. You have already won.